POV. You never start a business. You never go viral. You never get lucky. No inheritance ever lands in your account. No perfect investment finds you at the perfect moment. No hidden talent separates you from the people standing next to you on the train every morning. You just go to work. An ordinary job. An ordinary paycheck. The kind that millions of people earn and quietly believe will never be enough to change anything at all. And yet, one ordinary morning years from now, you open an app. You look at a single number on a screen, and there are 7 figures sitting in front of the decimal. $1 million, built on a salary the whole world told you was far too small to matter. Nobody saw it coming. Not your friends, not your family, not even the younger version of you who almost quit 100 times. Because this is not the story they sell you. There is no yacht in it, no overnight exit, no lucky bet that changed everything in a single weekend. It is slower than that, quieter than that. And that is the exact reason it actually works. By the end of this video, you will understand how the most ordinary person in the room becomes the quiet millionaire that nobody noticed being built. So let us start where you start, with nothing. $0. This is the beginning. The part no one ever posts about. You are young, or maybe you are not. It matters far less than you think. What matters is that the paycheck just landed, and for a moment, it feels like everything. And here, on day one, you make the only decision that will ever truly separate you from everyone you know. Not a big one, not a dramatic one, a boring one. You take a small slice off the top before you can even feel it leave, and you send it somewhere it can quietly grow. Not into a thing you can show people, not into a car, or a watch, or a weekend that photographs well, into something invisible. It feels almost foolish, like pouring a single bucket of water into a dry riverbed and calling it a river. Everyone around you is doing the opposite, spending the whole paycheck and then a little more, upgrading the phone, the apartment, the lifestyle, the moment the income allows it. And for a long time, they will look like the ones who are winning. That is the first thing no one warns you about. In the beginning, the right decision looks exactly like a waste of money. The reward is not visible yet. It is just a smaller balance, a little less fun, and a quiet faith that this will matter one day. You will not feel rich. You will feel like you are missing out. And still, you do it again the next month. And the month after that, not because you are disciplined, but because you made it automatic, so you would never have to find the willpower twice. That is the whole secret, hiding right here at the start. You do not build a fortune with one heroic effort. You build it with one small, boring decision, repeated until it becomes invisible. And slowly, with no sign at all on the surface, the number begins to climb. $10,000. Your first real milestone. And honestly, it is underwhelming. $10,000 is just enough to feel real, and nowhere near enough to feel free. It cannot buy you out of anything. It cannot change your life. If you stopped right now, it would barely register. This is the most dangerous moment of the entire journey, because this is where almost everyone quits. They look at months, sometimes years, of saying no. The dinners they skipped, the upgrades they passed on. And then they look at this number, this small, unimpressive number, and a voice tells them that the whole thing must be a lie, a scam built for people who were already rich to begin with. So they stop. They cash it out. They buy the thing. They rejoin the people who look like they are winning. But you, in this version, you do not. Not because you can see the future. You cannot. From where you are standing, this still feels slow and pointless. You keep going for one reason only. You decided the math was true, even on the days it did not feel true. And that single difference, the willingness to keep planting seeds in soil that looks completely empty, is the line between the people who make it and the people who almost did, because under the surface, something has already woken up. You just cannot see it yet. $50,000. Now something has changed, and it is not only the number. The habit takes no effort anymore. It runs on its own, quietly, in the background of your life, like breathing. You barely notice the money leaving. You learn to live on what is left, and you do not feel poor for it. This is the part the get-rich-quick crowd will never understand. The real engine was never a clever investment. It was a boring habit that became part of who you are, and for the first time, the money starts doing a strange thing. It begins to grow on its own, a little. Not from your paycheck, but from itself. The first faint sign that you have built something alive, something that works while you sleep. It is small. It will not impress anyone, but it is the most important moment so far, because it is proof. Proof that the curve is real, that the engine runs, that the quiet faith you have been carrying for years was pointing at something true the entire time. Most people will never get to feel this, because they quit one milestone ago. You are still here. And the steepest, most rewarding part of this climb is the one that has not even started yet. $100,000. 6 figures. The number that finally feels like something. And here is a secret the wealthy say quietly among themselves. The first 100,000 is the hardest, by far. For your entire life, you traded your hours for money. Now, for the first time, your money is trading its time for you. This is the place where the curve stops looking flat, where it begins, gently, to bend upward. And once it bends, it never fully flattens again. The hardest part of your journey is now behind you. Almost no one believes that while they are standing here, but you are about to see it for yourself. Because from this point on, you stop pushing the snowball up the hill, and it starts rolling on its own. $250,000. Now you feel it. The shift you waited years to feel. The money is growing faster than you can save it. Read that again. In a single good year, the invisible worker you built earns more than you can set aside by hand. You have quietly crossed a line that most people never even know exists. And something changes inside you too. There is a calm that was not there before. A floor under your feet. The quiet kind of confidence that comes from knowing that if everything went wrong tomorrow, you would survive it. You would be okay. You do not talk about it. That is the whole point. From the outside, you look exactly like everyone else. The same ordinary job, the same modest apartment, the same average salary, but on the inside, you have stopped being afraid in the specific, grinding way that most people stay afraid of money for their entire lives. The world still sees a normal paycheck. It does not see the engine humming behind you. It does not see how close you are getting. And it is accelerating now. From here, the numbers move faster than they ever have. $500,000. $500,000. Half of a goal that, not long ago, sounded like a fantasy that belonged to other people. And notice this, it did not take you nearly as long to climb from 100,000 to here as it took to earn that very first 100,000. The journey is speeding up, exactly when most people assume it should be slowing down. That is compounding, finally showing you its real face. The same boring habit, the same ordinary salary, but the growth stacked on top is now enormous because there is so much more of it working for you, and now the money is buying you something it could never buy at the start. Options. You can sit across from a boss you no longer fear. You can walk away from a room that is slowly killing you. because there is enough behind you to survive the fall. You can say no and truly mean it. That was never really about money. It was about power over your own life, the right to choose, the one thing almost no one on an ordinary salary ever believes they will be allowed to have. You are so close now, you can feel it. One more stretch, the shortest one yet. $1 million. And there it is. $1 million built by the most ordinary person, on the most ordinary paycheck, doing the most ordinary thing, over and over, for longer than almost anyone is willing to wait. And here is what surprises you most. On the morning you finally see the number, it is quiet. There is no confetti, no headline, no crowd, just you, an app, a number, and a strange, calm feeling in your chest. Because you already know the truth that the rest of the world will never quite believe. You did not get lucky. You did not get a windfall. You did not outsmart anyone. You just refused to stop. Every boring decision, every automatic transfer, every skipped upgrade, every milestone where you wanted to quit and did not, all of it folded together into this single, quiet number that the people around you assume must have come from something they could never access. A business, a bet, a secret, family money. It did not. It came from a salary that they probably earned too. The only thing you ever had that they did not was patience in the refusal to believe the lie that ordinary people simply cannot get there. But here is the part one really need you to hear, the part that matters far more than the million. This was never actually a video about money, because the person who reaches that number is not the same person who started. Somewhere along that boring, invisible climb, you quietly became someone who can wait, someone who is not ruled by the next shiny thing, someone who sleeps through the night, who can say no, who is no longer quietly terrified of a bill arriving in the mail. The million was never the prize. It was the receipt, proof of who you had to become in order to earn it. And the people who reach it, the quiet rich, the ones nobody ever notices being built, they all share the same unglamorous secret. They were never the smartest in the room. They were never the luckiest. They were simply willing to be patient in a world that is addicted to fast. Boring, it turns out, was the entire strategy. The thing that felt like a weakness was the superpower the whole time. So go back to the very beginning of this story. That first ordinary paycheck, that first small, almost embarrassing decision to send a little bit of money somewhere invisible where no one could see it, and nothing seemed to happen. That was it. That was the whole thing, the unremarkable morning where the millionaire was quietly born, years before the million ever arrived. And here is what no one tells you. That morning is available to you, too. Maybe not the one in the past, but the one that begins the next time you get paid. You do not need a business. You do not need luck. You do not need permission, or a perfect plan, or a different life than the one you already have. You need a small, boring decision and the patience to make it again and again, long after everyone else has quit. Because that, in the end, is how the quiet rich are actually made. Not loud, not fast, not lucky, just patient enough to let an ordinary salary slowly become an extraordinary life. If this gave you a reason to begin, subscribe and stay close, because the next story takes you inside the small daily money habits that quietly separate the people who make it from the people who always meant to. New stories from the other side every day. I will see you at the next level.